Welcome, folks. And thanks so much for taking the time to come out and join us at this thank you luncheon for all your great contributions to research, innovation, scholarship, and creativity at the university. My name is Jim Mortensen, and I work with Vice Provost Zhangguo Xia, and I'll be doing a little bit of emceeing of the event throughout the course of the day. So we'll move right into it, and it gives me great pleasure to introduce to you the Chancellor of our university, Dr. Keith Motley.
So good afternoon, everybody. I hope that you are enjoying your lunch. And I noticed walking in the door that you're enjoying each other. So that is a great thing for all of us. I'm the warm-up act for our provost. You're not speaking? But I am the warm-up act for the provost then. Well, I am so grateful that you're here. I had to go next door first, where our gerontology program is celebrating, and there was an alumna there of our program who's 98 years old. So she wanted to remind me that the last time we met, she gave me $10 as a contribution to this institution. And I told her that that was the greatest $10 that I've received in this whole process of being honored to be your chancellor. This magnificent woman next door, first person in our programs, over 30 years ago, 98 and just ready to roll. Then she told me her girlfriend was next to her who had another $10 for me. So Gina's in the room. I got $20 that I want to make sure we just get to the right space, because that's what it's about here. Good afternoon. This is just an opportunity for us to say thankful to you. We have so much to be grateful here at this university for, and while we exist because of the generosity of the people of Massachusetts and our many other benefactors and our supporters, our students succeed because of your vision, your dedication, your sacrifice, and your abiding faith in public higher education. You, the faculty, and those who join you in your pursuit of excellence and service to research, teaching, innovation, and scholarship are why we as a university are moving closer to our goal of being a premier, student-centered, urban public research university. You are urban architects and builders within our great society of endless change and of endless renewal. Today, we are joined by two excellent examples of your vision and your success, and their own intelligence and initiative. University of Massachusetts Boston undergraduate students, Indiana and Genevieve, where are you? Stand up so we can see you. Let's give them a round of applause. There are just two of the 10 university students enrolled in the Emerging Technologies Continuing Umbrella Research Experience Program at the Dana-Farber Harvard Cancer Center. Thanks to a grant from the National Cancer Institute in 2005, the University of Massachusetts Boston and Dana-Farber Harvard Cancer Center formed a unique public-private comprehensive cancer partnership. The partnership addresses health disparities in minority populations and improves research, training, and outreach opportunities for minority students, nurses, and scientists in the following three areas: collaborative cancer research, shared cancer training efforts, and cancer outreach. In thanks to the outstanding leadership of co-principal investigators, Dr. Adana Kanon Kamana of the University of Massachusetts Boston and Dr. Karen Emmons of Dana-Farber Institute. Stand up, where are you? I know you're at the table too. Where's Karen? Okay, listen. Adon. We were awarded a new $13.7 million grant to continue strengthening the National Cancer Research Program, while at the same time ensuring that your university, our universities, and students like Indiana and Genevieve will be on the front lines of waging the war on cancer in all of its insidious and heartbreaking forms. I would also like to acknowledge and thank their program leaders, Karen Burns-White and Elizabeth Zunisch. Karen is the Deputy Associate Director of the Initiative to Eliminate Cancer Disparities within Dana-Farber. Karen, stand up. Yep, I saw you over there. And Elizabeth is the Training Assistant. Stand up. I see you. So all of them are here with us today. And while we could have made them all stand together, I wanted you to see the individuals who are doing the work, and I wanted to give thanks to them, all of you, for your efforts. It is wonderful as chancellor to walk into forums where I'm the unexpected one. They brag about these programs, and I'm sitting at a table of presidents and chancellors, and everyone assumes it's them that has this program. And when your chairman and your president announced it, or your CEO announced it, it's us, I watch their faces. They look so surprised, but I'm not. See, I have the honor of moving among you every day. So I know that's just one of the programs. If they asked me and I started telling them about the rest, we would be here all day. When I consider the complexity of the challenge of reducing health disparities, I recall President Lyndon Johnson's remarks on the Great Society, which he delivered at the University of Michigan's 1964 commencement ceremony. I just want to share a brief passage with you from President Johnson's remarks, though I've made some minor changes to reflect his vision of our republic as one that aspires to inclusiveness and not tolerance. So, quote, "The Great Society rests on abundance and liberty for all. It demands an end to poverty and racial injustice, to which we are all totally committed in our time. But that is just the beginning. The Great Society is a place where every child can find knowledge to enrich his or her mind and to enlarge his or her talents. It is a place where leisure is a welcome chance to build and reflect, not a fear or not feared cause of boredom and restlessness. It is a place where the city of men and women serves not only the needs of the body and the demands of commerce, but the desire for beauty and hunger for the community. It is a place where men and women can renew contact with nature. It is a place which honors creation for its own sake and for what it adds to the understanding of the race. It is a place where men and women are more concerned with the quality of their goals than the quantity of their goods. But most of all, the Great Society is not a safe harbor, a resting place, a final objective, a finished work. It is a challenge that constantly we must renew, beckoning us toward a destiny where the meaning of our lives matches the marvelous products of our labor. So please accept from me to you my heartfelt thanks and appreciation for the marvelous products of your labor. I promised them that I would be loud enough so they could hear me next door. I hope you heard me next door. But now I have the honor of introducing someone to you who I just jokingly said that I was coming to warm you up for, our Provost and Vice Chancellor for Academic Affairs, Winston Langley. Now, come on up to the, he doesn't like this because my description of him is a young man who's coming to the podium, who is someone that I'm very proud to work with here on this campus because I know at the end of the day, he's going to work tirelessly for this community. But secondly, I know that his love for this institution goes back way before I got it. See, I came here and I had to fall in love with you. He was always that way. And he was one of those people that courted that part of me and sort of showed me the value of being in this space at this time. Demonstrates that every day. So I'm honored to have him as the leader of this academic enterprise and someone that I can work with and share the joys of all of you. Thank you again for all that you do to make this institution one that not only we can go brag about, but one that's for real. One that when you tear away the pieces, there are just so many elements that make it what it is. You make this university. That makes my soul smile. Thank you so much for being you.
Thank you, Chancellor. I hope you're going to have some lunch. I think we'd simply continue on the theme of the Great Society, and in pursuit of helping us to establish that sort of society, we also have joining us today 8 more students and several of their faculty research advisors from 2 related University of Massachusetts Boston programs. The first is the Initiative for Maximizing Student Diversity Program. This one is funded by the National Institutes for Health, and the program itself, it has goals to increase the number of students from unrepresented groups who enter and successfully complete PhD degree programs in the biomedical field. And second, to provide outstanding preparation for students so that they can advance and excel in the biomedical research career areas. Associate Professors of Biology Rachel Skwersky and Professors Adam Colon-Carmona are the program's co-directors, and they're here with us today. The second program, Research Experiences for Undergraduates in Integrative and Evolutionary Biology, serves a culturally and ethnically diverse student body, thus broadening the participation in science of underrepresented groups. Every year, 10 to 12 undergraduates are selected to participate in this 10-week summer program, which is funded by the National Science Foundation. The program stresses the integration of diverse fields of biology, demonstrating common themes across biological sciences, and especially the connections between cell and molecular biology on the one hand, and ecology and conservation biology on the other. Accordingly, student research projects span a diverse array of issue areas in biology. The projects are designed to help students develop independence in making research decisions, skills in experimental design, and insights into their broad field of research. As their names are called, I'd like the students and their research advisors to stand. One, Sandra Christensen. Is Sandra anywhere here? Yes. And research advisors are Professor Laura Heyman of the College of Nursing and Health Science and Dr. Mary Cooley. She is a nurse scientist who specializes in nursing and patient care at the Dana-Farber Cancer Institute, as well as an instructor of psychiatry at the Harvard Medical School. Do we have a student and 2 advisors? Dr. Heyman? The second is Diana Friedberg. Her research advisor is Dr. Rosalind Siegel. Dr. Siegel is Associate Professor of Neurobiology and Pediatric Oncology at the Dana-Farber Cancer Institute, as well as Professor of Neurobiology at the Harvard Medical School. We have them here with us today for standing. We've eliminated them. Melanie Garat, her research as an advisor is Associate Professor Alan Christian and is of the Biology Department. Yes, and you have your student with you? Good. The other is Harold Gomez. His research advisor is Dr. Quackenbush. He is Professor of Biostatistics and Computational Biology at Dana-Farber, as well as a Professor of Biostatistics and Computational Statistics at Harvard School of Public Health. Are they with us today also? Yes, okay, great. The fifth is Selina Imboiswa and Simone Ramos. Their research advisor is Professor Rick Caselli of the Biology Department. Do we have them with us today? Professor Caselli? Simone Ramos? And that's Rick. The sixth is Noreen Chiomu Okwawu. Her research advisor is Associate Professor Adan Kalan Carmona. And are they with us today? I think I saw Professor Kalan Carmona here. The seventh student is Mary Mean. Her research advisor is Assistant Professor Alexei Varasa, and her department is the Department of Biology. Professor Varaska. All of the students introduced here today have brought with them their research posters. After our last speaker concludes his remarks, the students will be available to explain and discuss their research. When you first arrived here today, I'm sure you looked at your chairs, your respective chairs, and took note of the newsletter Risk Quarterly. It is a new tool for publicizing the many fine and diverse accomplishments of our faculty, our research staff, and students in the area of research, innovation, scholarship, and creativity. And I would like to thank Vice Provost Jia for his leadership in developing this new faculty-focused publication. We look forward to reading the next and future issues. I think we ought to give him a special recognition here. Despite what the Chancellor say, I don't have much else to comment on. So please continue to enjoy your lunch. In a short while, we will have been joined by our Senior Research Fellow, John Butterworth, who will speak on the topic of strengthening collaboration between the Institute for Community Inclusion and colleges and freestanding research centers and institutes. This is a collaboration that we have sought to encourage on this campus, and we look forward to hearing it. Thank you, and please continue it.
Thank you. It's great to talk about the topic of collaboration. It's something that's a key element in all of our work. I'm really here representing in part our director, Bill Kiernan, and Bill sends his good wishes and regrets. He's sorry that he couldn't be here today. Bill's meeting with the national leaders of the state and federal vocational rehabilitation system this week as part of the implementation of one of our newest projects, a $16 million initiative that will involve demonstration work and collaboration with that state and federal system. The relationship between ICI and the academic programs and institutes here at UMass actually goes back over 20 years. A lot of people think of it as beginning in 2001, 2002, when we moved our primary kind of organizational and corporate base here to the university from Children's Hospital. But on a personal note, while I don't spend a whole lot of time on campus right now, I was actually the first ICI staff person to have an office on the campus of UMass Boston. That was January 1990. And I had an office on the second floor of the Wheatley building right on the main corridor, which was a much better place for collaboration than Park Plaza is downtown, and also had the advantage or disadvantage, depending on how you look at it, of having a chance to greet every lost new student and visitor wandering through the building at the beginning of each semester. Back in those days, our work was primarily with the rehabilitation counseling and special education programs, and initiating 2 grant-funded graduate training programs that allowed those programs to expand their focus to focus on supported employment, a relatively new rehabilitation service at the time, and in special ed, a focus on the process of transition from school to adult life for young adults. And they provided stipend support and tuition support to about 20 or 25 students each year. That was a small kernel of a beginning that's grown a lot over the last 20 years or so. ICI is a joint project of UMass Boston with our primary base here and Children's Hospital in Boston. We currently run 2 regional centers that provide training and technical assistance across the New England states, one in vision and vision education, one in rehabilitation services. We currently run 8 national centers that cover a diverse array of topics, including employment, community and national service, and post-secondary education for people with intellectual disabilities, one of our current largest growth areas. We represent over 180 staff and graduate assistants today, up from maybe 20 people when I started at ICI. There are about 7 faculty who work in one way or another as part-time staff or collaborators with ICI projects. We're currently supporting about 24 graduate assistants, and maybe more importantly, some 286 students with tuition support, fee support, employment of some kind, but tangible supports. We collaborate with entities in over 43 states, currently in 5 countries. I wanted to share the beginning of our mission statement because I think it gives a sense for where our need to collaborate from and our drive to collaborate comes from. The mission statement begins, "The Institute for Community Inclusion at UMass Boston supports the rights of children and adults with disabilities to participate in all aspects of the community." That focus on all continually pushes those of us in the Institute beyond our comfort zone. I'm a special educator by training. Most of the core staff at ICI come from disability services in one way or another, but our focus on community inclusion requires that we collaborate with one-stop career centers and schools and businesses, community-based minority organizations, community health centers, community colleges, AmeriCorps programs like City Year. We keep reaching out to kind of other elements of our community to try and create those inclusionary opportunities for people with disabilities. That brings us into contact with much of the work done by other programs and institutes here at UMass. I think about our areas of focus in two ways. They kind of cut two ways. One is topical and one is the nature of the work we do. Topically, some of our main areas of work are education, currently ranging from early childhood education to transition from school to adult life, to this new focus that's been emerging on post-secondary education for people with significant disabilities. We have a long-standing focus on healthcare, and the original origins of ICI go back about 45 years now at Children's Hospital, where we were founded by Dr. Alan Crocker. So we began with a strong focus on interdisciplinary healthcare, and particularly kind of interdisciplinary training to help healthcare professionals be more comfortable working with one another in a collaborative way rather than doing their work in academic or healthcare silos. We have a strong focus on community life, collaborating with organizations like the Haitian American Public Health Initiative, community health centers, the focus on national and community service I mentioned. And finally, employment has always been one of the hallmarks of ICI, and it spans a broad range from work with states and federal agencies around policy change to organizational change at a direct support provision level, to actually maintaining, going back again some 35 years, direct supports for job seekers with disabilities. We support 40 or 50 people a year, individuals with significant disabilities, to move into jobs in the community. You know, from a collaboration point of view, that's included people doing internships as part of the rehab counseling training. I also think of our work in terms of the types of work we do, and I'm going to talk about this more in the context of some specific projects, but it gives a sense of points of intersection. We do research, we do systems change on a variety of levels. We do a lot of training and technical assistance in the context of capacity building, particularly some of the regional and national centers, and then service at the very nuts and bolts level, like the job placement services that I talked about and some of the healthcare work that ICI is involved in. But putting that in the context of projects and opportunities to connect. One of our newest projects that I mentioned briefly at the beginning is a model demonstration project focused on improving outcomes for individuals who receive SSDI, Social Security Disability Income, and insurance, who are served by state vocational rehabilitation agencies. This is our largest project that we've ever received, over $16 million. It involves a process of identifying best practices in the vocational rehabilitation system, a process that Bill's starting this week, conducting 10 to 12 state-level case studies, and then engaging in a very detailed way 3 state vocational rehabilitation agencies as implementation partners to test out best practice. So it's a project that incorporates research, it incorporates exploration of best practice, state strategy, economics. One of our key partners is Mathematica Policy Research Institute, one of the premier policy research organizations in the country. It involves work with state voc rehab. It involves both qualitative and quantitative research opportunities. One of the projects that I'm most directly involved in was sort of a turn to the right to some extent for us away from our typical grant funding. The State Employment Leadership Network is a state systems change project focused on working with currently 18 state developmental disability agencies to help them improve their employment outcomes for people that they support. I say it's a little bit of a turn to the right because it's a membership collaborative. It functions really as a community of practice, and it's fully funded by membership dues paid by the state members. Our primary partner, besides the states, is the National Association of State Directors of Developmental Disability Services. And our focus, you know, as a general focus, it leads us to think about policy change, leads us to think about organizational and systems change, training and capacity building technology, and a whole raft of issues that include things like funding and contracting processes. For 10 years, Paula, close to 10 years, we've been involved in work for the Corporation for National and Community Service. That's the national programs that include AmeriCorps, Senior Corps, VISTA, What else am I forgetting? Learn and Serve America, with a primary focus on how do we make community service opportunities accessible to everyone, specifically people with disabilities, but this is really a universal design issue. How do we make it an option for everybody? So we collaborate, broadly with the Association of University Centers on Disabilities. We've had projects in some 40 states as part of this project. We collaborate with groups like the National Centers for Independent Living, the Association of Higher Education and Disabilities, the National Down Syndrome Congress, all in trying to achieve this vision of community service being something that's part of everybody's lives. And then stepping off of that, starting more recently, is the Next Step project, which is trying to take the idea of national and community service a step further into thinking about how do we make service opportunities part of a career path and a career learning experience for people with disabilities. That project will end out with over 30 model demonstrations spread broadly throughout the country. As I think about our work in national and community service, some of the areas of focus that create opportunity for collaboration are things like outreach and training and the instructional technology that's part of that. Again, systems change and policy are key parts of that work. Universal design, distance education, and strangely for me and our generation, social networking strategies, including things like the use of Second Life communities as a way of connecting with a broader population of people. And finally, on a much more nuts and bolts better level, and very close to the urban mission of the university, is some of the work of the Northeast Regional Center for Vision Education, and specifically the Vision Studies Urban Leadership Project that's in partnership with the Boston Public Schools. NERCV provides direct vision and orientation and mobility services in the Boston Public Schools. That's both an employment and a training opportunity for trainees of NERCV, but it's also preparing future leaders for that work in urban settings. So graduates from the program are ending up in positions in the Boston Public Schools, in Providence, in New York, and in other urban settings. So where are the opportunities, and what does that kind of sampling of a range of some 65 projects mean for the university? Clearly, affiliation on research initiatives is a big piece of ICI's work. Collaboration with graduate assistants, and we've had graduate assistants work with us from a raft of departments, instructional technology, management information systems, management, as well as the more obvious ones like public policy and education and rehabilitation. Opportunities to share in grant development. ICI's interests as we focus on our mission of inclusion span a lot of areas. There are faculty currently working in ICI projects on a part-time basis, and frankly, the talent pool of this university is something that we need strongly. It's one of the many reasons we moved ICI to UMass as our primary base and center, and participation wherever useful in the academic process, classes that relate to the work of ICI and its mission. And I just finished by saying, and I sort of highlighted this, that means a variety of areas of expertise: rehabilitation, education, data management, instructional technology, workforce development, management as we work on systems change issues, economics, public policy, service learning. All of those are key elements in the various projects that ICI is involved in. We look forward to the collaboration that we currently have, to future opportunities for collaboration. My thanks to the Chancellor, the Provost, and the Vice Provost for a chance to talk briefly about some of ICI's work. And Bill, the rest of the ICI staff, both folks here and people who aren't here today, look forward to a chance to talk further as we go future in the years to come. Thank you.
All All right, folks. Well, we're well into the luncheon today, so we're just going to keep moving forward. John, thanks so much for sharing all the good work that's going on, and as well as the potential for various types of collaboration. I would like to add, and John can just confirm for me, that the ICI will be putting together a symposium, and you will be able to meet with them, John and his colleagues, here on campus, likely in January, when you'll have the opportunity to discuss potential collaborations with him and his colleagues in much greater detail. And there'll be more information coming out shortly on that. We're going to move right on to our next speaker, Professor Adon Colon-Carmona of the Biology Department, and he is here to share with us some very good news on the U54 grant that you've heard so much about.
Good afternoon. Thank you, Provost and Chancellor, for giving me an opportunity to tell you a little bit about the U54 project. Get out of this. For the past several years, we have been in partnership with the Dana-Farber Cancer Center to really work on a difficult problem of cancer disparities. And our partnership actually started in 2003, in which there was a great effort to work together, primarily because there were mutual needs. The Dana-Farber Cancer Center knew that they needed to address cancer disparities, and UMass Boston was there to help in that particular arena. At the same time, Provost Paul Fontaine, and now with Winston, have been very, very supportive and committed to developing research and our research capacity here on our campus. And so they've clearly seen the value of having a partnership with the Dana-Farber Cancer Center. Related to this, there has also been a great synergy in the types of work that we do with students. We are known for having strong students in the area of biological sciences, and we do have a large population of underrepresented minorities, which is something that is really lacking in the biological sciences. A good example of how we're working together to promote research in that area is, and also how we are helping the Dana-Farber, is that back when we first started, there was a concern about the nursing shortage in the hospitals associated with the cancer center. And at the same time, we were developing our programs here. And so there was a mutual interest then in being able to collaborate in expanding that arena. I want to begin by saying that the work that's being done in this partnership is also led by Karen Emmons. She is a professor at Harvard School of Public Health. She's also associate dean there, and she's the deputy director of the Center for Cancer-Based Research at the Dana-Farber Cancer Institute. And she has been an amazing partner in this effort, as some of the people in the audience could attest to. Now, the strength of this partnership has been expressed in several different ways, one of which is the partnership funds projects. And one of the ones that we first funded was the Accelerated Nursing PhD program in the College of Nursing. So the reason why I put this example up is because I want to show you that we're not just working within the College of Science and Mathematics, but is really a university-wide effort. That program is now off and running, and they've been incredibly successful in their ability to expand their program and to obtain outside funds. Several other examples to give you a flavor for this is the P20 export grant. This is a project in which we supported some of the investigators through some of the U56 funds that later on went into that grant. Some external research grants associated with the biological sciences were also funded, and the partnership, I think, is very enticing for faculty and administrators that we're trying to recruit to our campus. I'm just listing 3 individuals there who have been very important in our partnership, both at the administrative level, but also at the research level. And, of course, recently, in the last couple of years or so, the Life Science Initiative grant to develop a Center for Personalized Cancer Therapy on our campus. And Dean Grosowski has been very instrumental in that, and he's also part of our partnership and executive committee. The provost mentioned students that were doing research, both on our campus and at the Dana-Farber Harvard Cancer Center. This is very, very important for the partnership. Over 100 UMB students, and I want to emphasize UMB students as part of this partnership. These are students who are highly sought out by Dana-Farber investigators because they do see this great contribution that they can make to their research. And so a lot of our efforts has focused on being able to place students in research opportunities. The partnership, because of its strong collaboration with the scientists at the DFACC, we were able to obtain several training grants that some of you have already heard about, such as the IMSD program or the Bridges program. You also heard about Karen Burns-White, the efforts that she has led at the Dana-Farber Cancer Center, and those include programs related to emerging technologies and genomics. Several challenge grants were also obtained recently to work on our projects related to outreach, cancer outreach and prevention. Now, I want to mention some of the history because I think it's important to realize that we haven't just started to work on this just now. It has been going on for a while, and one of the things that we do is that we fund pilot research. Pilot research that doesn't necessarily have external funds, but that is innovative, is cancer-based, and it's collaborative. And over the past 5 years, we've funded 19 different projects. These include PIs, principal investigators, that include at least one UMass Boston PI and one DFHCC PI. Having those collaborations, having those partnerships allows us to obtain some of the monies associated with the DFHCC. It helps us start off new core facilities. We're in the planning stages of developing a research methods and statistical core that Lois Biner here is going to be leading. There is a training core that Joan Becker and Karen Burns-White is also going to be leading. We have had for several years now a cancer symposia. Last year we had Nobel laureate Craig Mello, who presented at the Dana-Farber, but we've been alternating year to year. They're generally held here in the ballroom. And everything that we do is really trying to work together with the DFHCC. I'm sure some of you have noticed in our campus center, we have gorgeous facilities here, and notice that some of the conferences and retreats from that, the DFHCC have been held here. I think that's something that we've been able to promote as associated with the work that we've done with them. And I think one of the most important things that we've done in the last 2 years is our ability to interact with some of the institutes, research institutes. Our work with several of the ethnic institutes, the Gaston, the Trotter, Gerontology Institute, and really trying to make this a broader effort. We have been very successful in what we've done and generating external funds in both the research and infrastructure, and that's just some numbers to give you support of this. But I think what we're doing now is that we are moving into this new phase with the new award of the U54. It's a 5-year grant, multi-million-dollar grant, but I want to give you that it's not just myself or Karen, but really it's a larger effort. It includes an executive committee that involves multiple administrators from our campus and from the DFACC, multiple faculty members in 3 different foci: the basic sciences, the training, and the population and outreach areas. All of these include very dedicated individuals from our institutions, and I'm very grateful to the work that they've contributed to it. We have an external advisory group, the Program Steering Committee, and there is a community engagement committee that we're developing. All of these are in support of the research that we do. These are several projects that I'll tell you in a moment about, and they are being well integrated with our training core. All of these, of course, will be training undergraduates, graduates, and postdoctoral individuals. I don't expect you to be able to read all of the projects that we'll be funding in the next few years, but there's just a list of theirs, and I want to give you a flavor that they do include these different areas. For example, we have a very nice project that is in collaboration with the Gerontology Institute. It's a Holly Preggerson and Jan Mutchler project. This is looking at Latino and the life care. So it's not necessarily basic science, but it does relate to cancer, and it does incorporate contribution by both parties here. Additionally, we have a training program that's actually a project. This is an evolution of our support of the PhD nursing project. This is a nursing postdoctoral program in which postdoctoral students will be recruited to our campus. So we are very excited about what we're going to be doing in this next phase, and with the contribution of the individuals that I briefly mentioned, our investigators are assisted to really develop, staff their projects, provide some career development, and help with their budgets. The whole group assists investigators to really get through their projects, in some cases some very logistical things, such as getting through IRB. In other cases is really building further collaborations. These projects evolve into several new projects and new funding opportunities. Sometimes there are problem-solving issues associated with these, and depending on which area these are in, different groups are involved. We are developing outreach activities in collaboration with our partners in the DFACC. One thing that I actually really like to bring up as well is our new efforts to expand our involvement with junior faculty members. We really see this as an opportunity to be able to provide them with some initial funds and really be able to make sure that they're successful here on the UMass Boston campus. I do want to end by giving you my contact in case you want to talk to me later. Either Karen Emmons or myself are listed there, and also the Partnership Program Coordinator, Lorianne Ramsey. We're both, myself and Lori are in Wheatley, and I'd be happy to chat with you about what we can do for you as well. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Aidan. Just a reminder that we have these great students with us here today, and they've been kind enough to share their research with us in the form of their posters. When our final speaker concludes his remarks, if you do have some extra time, it would be great if you could join these students and chat with them a little about their research. I've had the opportunity to do so, and really, they're outstanding. Also, Harry Brett, the University photographer, is here, so if anyone is interested in having their photo taken with these students, that's an option that is available to you. So, our next speaker is Vice Provost for Research and Strategic Initiatives, Dr. Zhangguo Xia, and I had the great pleasure of first meeting him over 18 years ago as I thought about it. And he went away for a while, and then I heard he was coming back. So I thought very hard about the first time we met and how our relationship evolved, and I do say evolved as opposed to devolved. I thought very hard as to whether or not I had been kind and helpful to him. So, in any event, he is here, and in fact, it's my pleasure to introduce him.
Thank you, Jim. I need to thank Jim for several reasons. First, for purchasing a new tie, wearing his suit today. He's dressed for this special occasion. He told me he hadn't worn a suit since his wedding. Secondly, I want to thank you and Annette Carmen for making the wonderful arrangements for this particular function. You have done a fantastic job. Many of you have told me you like RISC Quarterly, our new research newsletter. Jim was largely responsible for putting together. Thank you very much, Jim. Good afternoon, everyone. First things first, how did you like the food? Wonderful. If you like the food, we will have a chicken every year. If you didn't like it, that's good too. I know you didn't come for the food. Maybe next year, we will have a lunch committee and try to do better. This is a day of celebration. We have had another great year in terms of research, innovation, scholarship, and creativity. As I will show you in a few minutes, we have much to celebrate. We have many great success stories to tell. This is also a day of appreciation. First of all, I want to thank every one of you for taking the time from your busy schedule to join us for this celebration. I know many people who wanted to come here but couldn't because of other special functions. I was told we actually have set a new record for attendance this year. This year, we invited some undergraduate students to join us and to showcase their research. Next year, we will also include graduate students, retired faculty, our board of visitors, and community leaders. They should know about the wonderful things we do on this campus. I wish to take this opportunity to thank our chancellor for his leadership and for giving the inspirational marching order to develop a distinguished public urban research university in his convocation speech. I want to thank our visionary and hardest working provost, Winston Lundy, for his academic leadership, for inspiring, challenging, mentoring, and supporting me every single day, including Saturdays and Sundays. When I was a professor here, I knew he worked hard, but now I realize every day is a 16 to 18-hour working day. I want to give you one example how he inspires me. One day, and I got frustrated, things didn't move as fast as I could. I told him, I have become more realistic. I'm very happy with every little progress I make, no matter how small it is. And he responded, if you had become realistic, we would be in big trouble. Our success in this past year is partly a result of the wonderful leadership of our deans and department chairs and directors of centers and institutes. I thank you for serving as good role models and for encouraging and supporting your faculty and research staff in writing proposals, conducting research, spreading the discoveries, innovations, and creations across the country, around the world. I also want to thank the undergraduate students who gave poster presentations and our valuable partners from Dana-Farber Cancer Institute. We also owe enormous gratitude to the research support staff in the Office of Research and Sponsored Programs. As some of you may know, the Office of Research and Sponsored Programs has been going through a very difficult transition. Literally, half of the positions were vacant at one point. Almost everyone in the office has gone out of her or his way to take on some additional responsibilities to keep the office functioning reasonably well. I thank you very much, my fellow servants. They are dispersed in different places. A great year of research, innovation, scholarship, and creativity obviously depends on the outstanding support of many others on this campus, including the Chancellor's Office and the Office of the Associate Vice Chancellor for Government Relations and Public Affairs. They have been doing a wonderful job in publicizing our success stories. I want to thank Vice Provost Joan Becker for her wonderful work. I suspect, I told her, she has a proposal factory in her basement. Every year, her office has been responsible for securing over $3 million to support our students. I want to thank Vice Chancellor Charlie Titus for getting us connected with the Chief Operating Officer of USAID, a person he coached as a basketball coach like 20, 30 years ago, and we have started developing some new projects with USAID. There are many others in A&F, IT, enrollment management, and student affairs. Yes, there are many areas that we can do much better. However, as all of you know very well, many of our colleagues in virtually every office or unit care deeply about our students, are doing their very best every single day to make UMass Boston a better place to learn, a better place to work. Each one of you can probably give me a list of those special individuals, so they have helped your work tremendously. They deserve our thanks. I thank all of you for your support and valuable contributions. Finally, I wish to express my heartfelt gratitude to you, our faculty and research staff. It is you who have found creative ways to remain as active and productive research scholars despite of heavy instructional responsibilities. It is you who have stayed after midnight, worked hard on Saturdays, Sundays, and holidays to write proposals, to conduct research, to write reports and manuscripts. Thanks a million for your extraordinary efforts. It is you who have inspired me to do my very best every single day. Thank you. I think next I'm going to give you a brief overview of our accomplishments and a few highlights of our projects and the conferences we have organized. And a few special individuals. Wonderful. When we talk about risk, we use these indicators of research, innovation, scholarship, and creativity. External funding, publications, including artistic exhibits, presentations, commercial ventures, and intellectual property, awards and special recognitions, and graduate thesis and dissertation research, and also undergraduate research experience. Here shows you the external funding record for UMass Boston since 1996. Look at 2010, this past year, we reached over $50 million. If you look at the trend, we have had basically growth, continuous growth with the exception of 2011. We reached over $50 million because if you look at this, for FY 2010, we had over $3 million deposited in ESS accounts, over $1 million deposited in project support fund accounts. I have noticed some of them are not counted towards the total amount of external funding. In addition, over $32 million of congressional earmarks for the Edward Kennedy Institute awarded through UMass Boston was not included. So $50 million based by faculty and research staff on this campus. If you compare the numbers, basically since 1996, we have more than tripled our external funding in the last 15 years. Here I just want to point out one number, and this past year is the highest annual rate of growth is close to 18%. There was a higher number in 2002. That's because ICI joined UMass Boston that year in January 2002. And right here, I also just want to show you the red color number at the upper left, right corner. We have also set a new record in expenditures, close to $47 million. This slide shows you the distribution of external funding among major academic units. On the right, if you look at the lower right graph, the right column shows the total funding for the university. The next one is ICI, and the next one is centers, freestanding centers and institutes. If you look at this, ICI basically is responsible for about 20 to 25% of the external funding for this institution. Freestanding centers and institutes have been responsible for about 40 to 50% of our external funding. And if you look at the academic colleges, in 2007, COSMIC had a great year. COSMIC is a joint effort between the College of Science and Mathematics and the College of Education and Human Development. And in FY08, McCormick Graduate School, College of Liberal Arts, had a significant increase in external funding. In FY09, also College of Science and Mathematics had a significant increase, and also in this past year, FY 2010. I want to highlight one particular college. I think they have an amazing success story, College of Nursing and Health Sciences. If you look at their record for the last 4 years, in terms of number of awards, 4 years ago, they had 6. This past year, they had 25. In terms of total funding, increased from a little over $500,000 4 years ago to over $3 million. They increased their external funding to more than 600% in 4 years. That's an amazing record. And here shows RTF contributions. This is what we use for startup packages, for internal grant programs, and many other essential research support functions. If you look at this, again, freestanding centers and institutes have been responsible for generating close to half of our RTF research trust fund. ICI, that institute alone, has been responsible for close to a third of our RTF revenue. And for this past year, among the academic colleges, College of Science and Mathematics has the highest RTF return, followed by College of Liberal Arts, and then McCormick Graduate School for Policy Studies, followed by College of Nursing and Health Sciences. And this particular chart shows you how we compare in the UMass system. I want to highlight a few numbers. For FY09, this is the latest number we have available, submitted to National Science Foundation. If you look at this, 67% of the external funding for the entire UMass system in psychology, about 53% in social sciences, and about 51% in non-science and engineering. 46% of the external funding in education came to UMass Boston. But in terms of total funding, UMass Boston actually was ranked number 4 in the system, only ahead of UMass Dartmouth. One particular number in total science and engineering, if you look at that, all other campuses, over 90% of their external funding was in science and engineering. And that's actually as expected, because nationwide, all universities and colleges for FY09, there was $55 billion spent in science and engineering fields. Only $2.4 billion in non-science and engineering fields. If you look at our number, it's about 78% compared to over 90% on other sister campuses, because we do not have a college of engineering. And this, again, the latest number I have available, how we compare nationally. Psychology, UMass Boston was ranked 44th in the country. Social sciences, if you look at our flagship campus, was ranked 73rd in the country. In social sciences, UMass Boston was ranked 74th. And we were in good company again. UMass Amherst, 111th. In non-science and engineering fields, UMass Boston was ranked 83rd. A significant part was education. We were ranked 44th in the country, and our flagship is way behind that. So we have done extremely well in certain areas, psychology, education, and other social sciences and non-science and engineering fields. I just want to give you a list of a few very significant projects. This is one of our signature partnership. U54, $33.7 million. You have seen this in the risk quarterly. And here is another major project for UMass system, led by Worcester campus. It's a $20 million program supported by National Institutes of Health. Professor Laura Heyman, Associate Dean of Research in the College of Nursing and Health Sciences, well-accomplished scholar. If you look at this, recipient of the American Heart Association National Meritorious Achievement Award. Very recently, last year, recipient of the American Heart Association Council on Cardiovascular Nursing Distinguished Achievement Award. It looks like Laura gets an award every year. This is significant because there are only a total of 55 such centers in the country. When we applied for this, Massachusetts already had 3. So we would be the 4th one. We were successful to become a national center to establish clinical and translational science center. Provost and Chancellor highlighted this, and this has one of only 15 programs from 458 nominations nationwide, and this is an incredible accomplishment. Obviously, this is a program started in 1988. Decades of hard work. And here's the new award received by ICI. And the director, I guarantee you, this is not Rick Bender. This is our distinguished Bill Kierland, the director of ICI. And he actually gives testimony to the Congress committees quite often. And some of you may have read this. Science magazine actually highlighted the impact of UMass Boston-led Boston Science Partnership. And this is a joint initiative between the College of Science and Mathematics and College of Education and Human Development under the leadership of Arthur Eisencroft, Bob Chen, and Hannah Savian. She was one of the co-authors. She's currently working at the National Science Foundation as a program director. Another significant project, $15 million total for teacher quality partnership under the leadership of Dean Kolbeck and a team of professors in her college is working with several other Boston institutions. I selected a few conferences. This obviously also spread the influence of UMass Boston and the leadership position of UMass Boston in research in certain areas. One was hosted by Professor Ed Tronick, a distinguished university professor. If you look at this, co-sponsored, by New York Academy of Sciences and Brown University. It is a landmark international conference on the emerging and controversial field of behavioral epigenetics. And our department of chemistry, the program of green chemistry program, hosted the 3rd international conference in green chemistry. If you look at this, the last 2 were held at McGill University and Yale University. and we actually hosted the last one, and we also had the EPA Assistant Administrator here to give a keynote address, and he was also one of UMass Boston alums. This is, to me, Professor Patrick O'Malley was doing the almost impossible. He organized a conference from 10 divided municipal leaders from 10 divided cities from around the world, and the conference was held in Kosovo. This is really a master at work at his craft, and this obviously spreads the UMass expertise and influence around the world. I want to actually highlight a couple of individuals, and one is Professor Jacqueline Fawcett, one of top 20 most influential people in the nursing field. When you are one of the top 20 in any field, we'll hire them, we'll do everything possible to keep them. And here's another National Science Teachers Association honors UMass Boston Professor Arthur Eisencraft with the highest honor, Robert H. Carlton Award. This also, the award was received in this past year. And there are many other success stories and achievements. Because of the time limit, I can only select a few. We will include much, much more in our annual report, which will be released very shortly. Thank you very much for all you do, for your valuable contributions. Thank you.
Well, thanks again for joining us, folks, and we hope to see you back next year.